Hi everyone, welcome to my review of yet another Alfred Hitchcock film, To Catch a Thief, in 1955. Now, what can I say, Hitchcock is one of my absolute favourite directors, and, it's been great to just go on a kind of rewatch of quite a lot of his films recently and review them on this channel. Of course, there's loads I've not seen. I've only seen 16, and out of out of the maybe like 50 plus films that he's made, most of them I can eventually get hold of, but for now I'm just reviewing the ones that that are available. I've got quite a lot of Blu-ray, but yes, this was on Sky. This one, To Catch a Thief, and it's quite controversial Hitchcock, because a lot of people just say that it's very, yes, it is very light in tone. I'll say that, and a lot of people just say they dismiss it because it is light in tone. They say it doesn't hold their interest, stuff like that, and it's just not it's just lesser Hitch. I would definitely disagree with saying it's lesser Hitch, but yes, it's not top tier, obviously Psycho or something, but I think it's massively underrated actually, and I do love this film, and it's hard to it's hard to talk about because yes, it is a very, very light film in the sense that, it's kind of like, Thunderball. It's kind of felt like Bond on holiday, you could say. If you've seen that film, you would kind of know what I'm on about. The exotic locations, kind of just a bit more laid back, and that came in hand with just, for me, very laid back, just filmmaking. I thought it didn't feel like there was much effort put into it and stuff, and I didn't really care about it. It was too breezy, too flat and dramatically and stuff, and it just felt half-assed because it was, and it kind of comes in hand sometimes when places, franchises or films, going to like exotic locations. Police Academy 5 is an example of that. But this film I think is very, very different, and it's hard, very, very, I didn't expect much because of that, when I'd heard about it. And, I kind of went in, it was last year I saw it for the first time. This is my second watch, and, I do love Grace Kelly and Cary Grant though. I love Grace Kelly in Rear Window and stuff, and she's absolutely great in this, and Cary Grant, he's one of my favourites as well. And, John Williams is in a couple of films as well I've seen. And as well, the actress that plays Cary Grant's mum in North by Northwest is in this film. So yeah, I was looking forward to the actual the actors and stuff being in it, but people don't really talk about it too much, and some do praise it and say it's actually really underrated, me included. But most just say it's too breezy, too flat and stuff. And I absolutely love it. I went in last year and I was just blown away really by just how much I loved it. Yes, it's not it's not heavy on drama. You could say, especially the first half, but it just manages to work in every way really. The only I would get the flaw out of the way. The opening scene. It's kind of, yeah, people do say sometimes it's like a parody of these sort of things where there's people screaming and things have gone missing and stuff, or there's a murder happened. Yeah, I would kind of, that kind of lets him off a little bit, but it was just a bit out of tone, I think. It just starts off with a woman screaming at the right of the screen, and could have been done well even, but she just didn't give a great, it just looks kind of hammy, so that's a flaw, and it was a weird choice to start off with that, because the rest of the film is not like that at all. It's not in your face like that. It's very, very, yes, it is very light in tone and stuff, but yeah, I don't think it was a great intro. But aside from that, I think this is pretty much a flawless film. I absolutely love it, and yes, it's basically the plot, quite sparse, you could say, but the kind of the plot is in the title really, To Catch a Thief. Cary Grant's character, John, he's kind of a retired burglar, and he had a particular style, and it's very, very, it's done really, really well, for great exposition actually early on. His kind of what he was like as this thief. Very compelling character, really, really compelling, and basically he's in the French Riviera, and there's loads of surrounding burglaries that they seem like they're copycat. It's kind of his style that he had, and it kind of raises questions in him. And people kind of suspect that he's doing things again. So in order to kind of clear his name, and as well win back kind of Grace Kelly after ever falling out. He basically searches for the actual thief, you know, and tries to basically bring justice kind of thing, and so he can clear his name as well, and just, you know, catch the thief. And that's the plot really. You've also got, of course, other characters and things that happen along the way, but that is the general plot, and that kind of drives the film. Starts off very, very light, you know, and there's a fine line sometimes, but yeah, between light and sometimes if a film's really, really light, there's no drive to the film. In this case, it just so happens to be that doesn't affect the film. It does have a drive for me, because Cary Grant is so good in this film, and you know, you were kind of with him mostly for the first bits of the film, the first 25 minutes or so, and these other characters, but mainly focusing on him, because he's so good in this film and it's so well written. I think he's just such a charm to it, and stuff. That, you know, it just drives the film along, and there's some great chase sequences as well early on. And it's from the get-go, I just got drawn in, you know, very, very light, but it's not laid back in the sense that it's just no one gives a shit kind of thing. Like some films can be like that. The filmmaking, you know, the cinematography and everything's still on form massively, you know, it's a stunningly shot film. The framing and everything, Hitchcock was, he always had an eye for films, you know, for the eye, you know. He always needed psychology as well of shots, what the effect they would have on the viewer. And, you know, uses of colour and stuff. The greens in this film, wow, they are stunning. And it's mainly at night the scenes are kind of appear green. Very, very great effect that has, and it's just, yeah, as to the style, this has got style. This film has really very sophisticated cinematography, and everyone, you know, and some people, you know, have criticised this, but everyone kind of looks great, you know, the way they dress and everything, and I just kind of I like that, you know. It's not a flaw because it's not done in a way that kind of detracts from the actual characters and everything. It's just, yeah, everything looks stunning, you know. And of course, it's great locations, you know, beaches and everything in the film. And yeah, it's just so pleasing to look at, and kind of just adds to the nice experience. It's a very nice film, you know. It's not it's not a film that's going to disturb you or anything or scare you like Psycho or something, but it's just very, very nice to look at, and just the romance and everything as well. It's not, you know, it's not a romance where things happen, you kind of get, you know, affected, you know, in that way or something. It is very, very light, but it just works so well. And yeah, the first 25 minutes, you know, they're not, you know, as good as the rest of the film, but they're still, you know, I don't really have any flaws with it apart from that obviously opening bit. I just, you know, I was loving every moment really. You got as well, you know, John Williams, you know, his character, you know, the character he plays, it's great, you know, really interesting, and some great comedy in the conversations him and Cary Grant's character has, you know, Cary Grant's John, and as well, you know, Grace Kelly when she comes into it, playing Frances, that's when the film really becomes like not far off of top tier Hitchcock actually. I absolutely, you know, when the romance starts to properly come into play as well, the film only gets much better. And you know, there's kind of some things going up and down, you know, the relationship they have, but you know, it does start off as well very, very breezy, light. But once it, you know, it properly comes into play, that's when I absolutely think this is one of the better Hitchcocks I've seen. I think the romance is one of the best in Hitchcock. Absolutely loved it, you know, and it's not a complex one in the sense that Notorious was, or something like that, or Vertigo. No, but you know, it has its ups and downs. It's really masterfully crafted romance. It's just, yes, it is very much a straightforward romance, you could say, for the most part. But it's just stunning because, you know, the chemistry, and just the way they're written, and just the charm and everything. And Grace Kelly, she's really good in this film. Amazing. I'd say she's better than she is in Dial for Murder, and not as good as she is in Rear Window, but yeah, and she's better than she is in High Noon. That's the other things I've seen her in. I've not really seen her in anything else, but you know, everything I've seen her in, she's great, and just really enjoyable. Her romance with Cary Grant, once again, you know, just a smooth, kind of enjoyable performance, and yeah, just I think it's not as good as he was in Notorious or North by Northwest, but Still a great performance. Absolutely loved his character, John, and you know, he's very actually he's quite a complex character, you know, and you know, Hitchcock kind of shows him in a light where, you know, he says some things, of course, that kind of people would be thinking, well, you know, he's not a great guy, you know, kind of thing, but he's just so likable in the film that, you know, it kind of, yeah, it doesn't matter really. He is a thief and stuff, but a very, very charming one, and yeah, it's just a very layered character as well. That this other side characters are great, you know, just great supporting cast really for the most part, and Jessie, Royce, Landis, character she plays is great, and she's the mum of Grace Kelly in this film, Frances, and just really enjoyable stuff that happens there, and she's really funny and stuff. There's a lot of comedy in this film, especially in the middle segment of the film, and it's just really just greatly written comedy, you know, and the timing, as always, with Hitchcock, really, the comedy is just great, and yeah, it's just, you know, it's got a simple plot once again, which is what I like, you know, when Hitchcock kind of just strips it down, a film, and then he just focuses on characters and stuff, and just uses pure cinematics really to elevate, and the romance does elevate in this film, you know. As I said, it's not like a immensely powerful one where, you know, you feel loads of different things, of sadness for and stuff, but it is a romance that kind of works perfectly, actually, and does uplift. It just doesn't, you know, pack a punch or anything like that. But you know, that's just what he was going for, and I absolutely adored it. You know, I couldn't floor it at all, and I was constantly engaged in that romance. And you know, you've got so many great scenes where they go in the car. There's kind of a car chase going on in the first half of the film. It manages to be tense, you know, with the people chasing Cary Grant and stuff. Funny, with actual kind of slapstick thrown in there with the chase, and as well they're kind of developing the romance at the same time while getting chased. And then it leads on to a stunning, you know, great picnic scene, which is just great. You know, it's just full of, you know, scenes of balanced comedy once again, and drama, and just character development. You know, the character development is amazing in this film. That picnic scene as well is just so great. You know, it's such a romantic film, you know, in that sense, and exotic film. Yes, it's light, but it's very, very engaging, and it does have quite a lot of mystery as well throughout the film. You know, just because it is light and stuff, and does focus more on the actual romance. It doesn't matter because it still has the thrills. Just don't expect something like Psycho or Rear Window in that sense of the thrills. But for what it is, you know, a light romantic kind of, yes, a thriller. It's a masterpiece for me. I really think it's a masterpiece. You know, not perfect, but you know, I had a couple of just the opening bit and maybe. Yeah, maybe one or two bits very, very early on wasn't quite masterful, but they weren't really that flawed. It's just, yeah, the opening shot really was the shots that was flawed. But you know, it's a flawed masterpiece. But I'm not going to give it a 99 because the flaws were so minor really, and just didn't take away from the film. The rest of the film was just amazing, flawless, you know, masterful. The direction is just stunning. Hitchcock kind of. There's a lot going on, you know, actually, with the script and everything. It's very, very bounces off. The dialogue bounces very, very well, stunningly. There's quite a lot going on, really, but it makes it, you know, it does make it still, you know, feel light, you know, and that is harder to do than some think, you know, and it feels like it just gets you into the world of these characters and stuff without seeming like it's you know, it took a lot of effort, you know, and maybe it didn't take of course it's not took as much effort as, you know, a lot of his other films around that time, you know, Vertigo and everything, but you know, it's still a film that has just got so much masterful filmmaking, great characters, the romance is absolutely stunning. I love the romance in this film, and all the side characters as well, really, it's just great. You know, you've got quite a lot of twists, especially in the second half of the film. You've got a lot of double kind of double meanings and stuff. Yeah, Hitchcock was very well known for that, and very, very funny actually to see some of that in there. He always found a way around it, you know. They would get in there, you know. But yeah, that's just adds to the charm of the film. and it's just great, you know. I can't really flaw the film, to be honest, apart from that opening couple of shots. I think this is a masterpiece, and I give it 100% plus, tier 3. Just edges into there because, you know, there's maybe one or two films at the end of that tier 3 that I like it more than. It's a bit better. Basically, as well, if you've not seen my any of my other reviews, I do 100%, which is basically like a 10 out of 10 film, of course. And then, you know, for films that are in my, for sure in my favourite films list, and ones that kind of go a bit beyond a kind of regular masterpiece, for my enjoyment and for the qualities combined, they get like a tiers, 100% plus tiers, and then tier 3, tier 1, tier 3, sorry, tier 2, and then tier 1 is the best. And then you've also got my bonus tier, which is tier S, but you know, most films don't get that, so that's nothing to kind of think into. But yes, this is a tier 3, it's ever so slightly just in there, because I do think it's quite a special film. And just I absolutely love the romance, as I've said, all the characters in this film, you know, just the way it progresses. Yes, it's a great thriller, and it's got loads of twists, especially in the second half. Loads of mystery and atmosphere throughout, you know, the different looks that people would give Cary Grant when they're following him. But it's very much a very light, kind of laid back, not really, but a breezy film, you know, and it's just thoroughly enjoyable. But so well crafted, and I cared so much actually about all this stuff that was going on, the characters' relationships, you know, and Grace Kelly and Cary Grant together are so good. It's just, love it, love this film. I absolutely adore it, and you know, I don't think it's. I think it should be talked about a bit more. You know, it's fine. You know, I can understand how some people would say it's a lot more lighter and therefore, you know, less interesting. But you know, I just got compelled by everything that was going on, and I don't feel that the lightness really detracted from the engagement that I had with the film in that way. I just enjoyed it for what it was, as a more of a lighter film, you know, and more exotic, romantic. It was pretty much perfect for the most part, and I absolutely adored it. You know, I love it, and the ending as well, great ending. Yes, To Catch a Thief, you know, same year as The Trouble with Harry, which is another underrated Hitchcock film for me. I can't wait to review that. But yes, as it stands, To Catch a Thief is a masterpiece from me, and it manages to make it just into my tiers, 100% plus tiers. And yes, definitely in my top 200 films of all time. So thanks for watching, and yeah, the next Hitchcocks, maybe, you know, we're looking on the lines of The Trouble with Harry, The Man Who Knew Too Much, maybe, you know, the remake. Maybe just a couple I've not seen yet. Lifeboat, I've got that. Yes, so I look forward to that, and yes, highly recommend this film because it's not really talked about. But yes, thanks for watching.